Hello friends, welcome back to my Python tutorials videos. In the previous video, we learned about the list, which are mutable type of data type as we have already seen it. Today, we will learn about a data structure that looks like a list but not exactly, but where data cannot be changed accidentally. This is called as a tuple. In this video, we will understand tuple from scratch with a real example and practical performance as well. Let's right now talk about what is a tuple in Python exactly. Tuple is a order collection data type where the order of a data is fixed. The difference between a list and a tuple is that a tuple is a immutable type of data type. Immutable in the sense like we cannot change, update or delete the value if we defined it once. Once tuple is created, we cannot change it in any sense. So this is how the tuple works in Python. For the detailed evolution and practical example point of view, I will explain in the later view. Let's right now talk about the tuple data type as well, as we have already seen in the last video about the list data type. In this thing, I will be going to explain about the tuple data type. Okay, so if I want to define a tuple specifically in Python, then like something like this, I can define it by using, I'm giving a variable num over here. Then I want to define a tuple specifically. So for defining a tuple in Python, so I should use the round bracket before I use the tuple to define or the code. The round bracket indicates that this is a tuple data type specifically, and it is also can contain the various type of different type of data types, like we do keep in the list type of data type as well. It's somewhat similar, but it is not in the exact sense it is similar. We'll explain you why it is not similar. So as I can write over here, 25 Arnav, then something like hello, just a sec, and then the last value I want to keep 3.14. And if I save the code and try to run it right now, it will execute in the same sense that we execute for the list as well. It will print in the similar manner. And in the similar manner, if you want to access the certain type of indexes specifically or the element from the tuple, that we can also do by using the concept of index over here as well. If I want to perform like I want to get the value specifically Arnav or the terminal, so I can use the nums and the index one, so get the value, I can get it exactly. So this is how we can perform the indexing over the tuple specifically. If I want to access any specific value from the list, sorry, not in the list, in the tuple specifically, then I can access by this way. Okay, now one more thing that I just need to mention over here, like if I talk about the way, just a sec, let me just define another variable over here, a person, if I suppose define, and it contain, sorry, my bad, if a tuple I am defining with a single element, and if you define like this only, like Python, and saving the code and then try to run it, you think that will be a tuple, but I must say it is not a tuple. You just said, ma'am, that if we define that a round bracket in the Python code, then it treat as a tuple. Yes, I said it, but not exactly in the correct sense. If you are defining a single element in a Python code along with the round bracket, then it is not a tuple exactly. For treating as a tuple, we should maintain a separate specific syntax over there. Like in this syntax, if the element is single, then you have to put a comma over here. Instead, won't you have put comma over there, then it won't treat like a tuple over here. Let me show you as well. Like if I remove this comma and save the code and try to run it right now, sorry, my bad, just let me just run the correct file. It print the Python over here, right? But let me show you the type of the person over here. If I want to show it to you, see, the type of person is like what exactly. See, it is a string type of data type, not a tuple data type. So if I put a comma over here right now, then it will treat like as an tuple over here specifically. So this what the syntax that it makes sense to treat as an like a tuple, not a string or not any other data type. So this is a like main concept. More of the times, like when we are writing too many code lines, too many things over there, we miss this such simple things. So that's why I kept in a scenario to explain you in detail about it right now. And after that, like you will be amazed in the question come across in our mind, like if we are defining this data like a tuple specifically and not performing any operation that I said already it is a immutable type of data type, because the operation which remains certain time constants over there in Python that doesn't need to perform any specific operation over that, then we can use the tuple data type. As in simple time of explanation or a real-time scenario, I can talk about, think of a scenario like a class of 10 students are there, and each student has a one specific roll number, and that roll number can be used as a constant for identification of that student specifically. So in that scenario type of view, similarly in Python, if we want to define a specific constant value which will not going to change in any sense, then we can use the tuple data type. So this is the just overview I have explained over here, that how we define a tuple, how we use with along with the indexes, and what is the exact sense to define a tuple as well. In the later view, we'll explain in the details scenario about the practical approaches as well, along with the some operations as well that we can allow to perform on the tuple as well. Let's right now talk about tuple immutability before moving ahead with the rest of the operation in tuples. If you try to modify any element of a tuple, Python will immediately raise an error for that, because as tuple is immutable in nature, we cannot change the value, and you're trying to change the value, then it will throws the error for us. That's why when we use a tuple, it is used specifically to store our data safe and not get manipulated in any sense. If you are trying to get it manipulated in any sense, then Python will throws the error. Just make sure you follow up with this concept until and unless you will get an error in your code if you use to tuple manipulate the operation in your code. Let's right now talk about some of the important operations that we can allow to perform on the tuples as well. Like we have seen how we have to define and how we can define a tuple and use it exactly whenever it required to use it. So specifically in this thing, I will be going to explain the detailed evaluation, what type of operation we are going or allowed to perform on the tuple specifically. So I'm going to define one tuple over here. Like if I want to concatenate and the repetitions over the tuples, then I can also do it using the concatenation operator and the repetitions type of point of view over here. We'll explain you in detail what I'm saying, trying to say to you. Specifically, the two type of operations which are allowed to perform on the tuple is that concatenation we can do it. We can add two tuples at the same time. And if I want to repeatedly print the same tuple again and again, then I can use the repetition concept over here. And how? Let's just see right now in the practical approach as well. Let me just define a tuple. Like tuple 1 I am defining with a round bracket. I want to give 1, 2, 3 over here, and tuple 2 as a like 4, 5, 6 specifically. And then I want to add both of the tuples specifically. Like as I've showed in previous things that we cannot do any operations over there. But see, over here we are not manipulating the tuples. We are just adding two different tuples together. So that is not a manipulation. Just we are trying to add two tuples in a single line. So if I print something like tuple 1 plus tuple 2. So what it exactly do over here, once I print the output, it will show me the output like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see. See, it shows the same output over here. Why exactly? Because I use the concatenation operation. As we have already discovered and learned about the concatenation concept in the previous videos as well, like how it exactly works and how it exactly combines the two different things together and print out the result. Like here I do for the two tuples, add them and print out in the result. There is not the way only that we can perform a concatenation for a tuple. There is one more thing that we can perform. If suppose think upon an example and think of a scenario specifically. If you have one tuple over here and you want to print continuously multiple times same tuple value specifically over there, might be the case, might be the scenario come across, and that time we can use to do like this specifically. If I use print tuple, and if I want to print it the same tuple for thrice, then I can multiply it by 3, and that same element tuple specifically will get printed in the repeated manner, one by one, one by one. Okay, there is one more concept in tuple specifically. Let's just discuss right now quickly. So the another concept that I want to explain over here is a slicing and the indexing operation. Like in the previous thing or the previous scenario point of view, have when we are talking about the specific tuple definition and the tuple declaration and the tuple syntax over there. I already explained you over the indexes specifically. Now let's right now talk about the tuple slicing specifically. So as we know that we have a tuple that we can perform or have a different combination set of elements over there, but it also supports a index format that we have already seen in the previous things too. If I want to put some of the element from the tuple and give it to a specific range from start to this point and end to this point and step over by one, that also we can do, like we done in the list operations too. Somewhat similar we can do in the tuples as well. Like the tuple 1 is there, now I want just 2 and 3 to print on the terminal window. Then I can do like this, tuple square bracket, the index we have to keep in mind 0 1 1 colon 2. But if I put it like this, then it will print whatever the value which is present on the 1 index and the 2th index, that will print for me. So see, if I run the code, it print 2 comma and the rest of the result, because 0 1 2 3 element are there and we are printing just one element. So if I increase the value by 3 over here, then we will get the last element 2 comma 3 over there. So this is how we can perform the slicing too. As we have already discussed in list operation, then we can use the step over 2. Step over in the sense what terms of elements you want to include it in the sequence, like 1 by 2, by 1, by 3, or like whatever you use as per your preference you can increment. Like if I increment by 1, default keep present 1 only. If you want to increment by 2, then you can put 2 over here. So this is the way that we can also perform a slicing operation over the tuples too. There are more common operations that we are going to perform in the tuples. Later we will see in the deep things as well. Let's right now see a concept like how we can perform a slicing and the indexing over the tuple as well. Like see, I have already opened a Python window over here and define a tuple specifically, which is starting from 1 to 7 over here. Like as we already studied in the list data type as well, that how we can perform this slicing specifically. It is nothing but the operation that we have performed on the basis of their indexes specifically. So tuple also do support the indexes concept as well. We can use the indexes specifically and get the element from the tuple over here. So if I want to access, like I print the list over here, like sorry, not a list, a tuple over here specifically from 1 to 7. We already know that in tuple or in the list, whatever we are doing in the operations, that index started from 0. Okay, the 0 is the start index and it is ended till the element are present in the specific in the list or either in the tuple over here. So basically in tuple also it seems like it started from 0 until the end it get completed whatever the element we have in our tuple right now. So if I want to access the fourth number, 4 value from this tuple, so how can I access it? By using the indexes specifically, like we do in follow up in the list data type as well. We can do similar approach in the tuple data type too. Like it is starting from 0. So let me just count the indexes over here: 0, 1, 2, 3. So if I print call the index 3 within square bracket by using the tuple name as well, and then print to it give me the specific value which I wanted from the tuple elements. Okay, now on the base of this indexes, we can perform the slicing operation too. Slicing in the sense, if you want to perform specific, if you want to get some values from the tuple of elements, specific values in the sense like start from this and till the end, that point I want it from the tuple, nothing else, nothing, no extra values that I wanted, that we can do using the slicing operations. So basically, as I want to print as I want to start from 3 and get it till 6 over here. Okay, so how can I do it? Like I will use the print statement over here, the tuple name, and the slicing operation, which I'm going to define in square brackets. That square, the listing, sorry, the slicing will start from, let me just try to get the index of the 3, 0, 1, 2. 2 is the index of 3, that I want 3 to be printed from, uh, till 6 value I want to print from the tuple. So 2 is the second, so at the 2th index 3 value is there. Now 3, 4, 5. 5 is the, like, the way that element is present on this, but we will take 6. Why? Because the element is starting from 1 to 7 and indexes are like 0 to 6 over here. So if I take 6 over here, then and then only I will get 3, 4, 5, 6 as an output. Like, see, if I run the code, I get the same output in the result as well. Now there is one more concept that we already followed up in the list data type as well, that is the step or the slicing operators. Like as well, we can also step over with the specific inputs as well, like we do followed up in the list data type. If you want to increment, by default, if we know pass the value over here in the slicing, it increment by 1. But if you want to increment the step or values, like how many value it should jump from one to another. Like if I keep 2 over here and then I try to evaluate, so the first value will print 3 over here, then it will skip the 2 values, go to this x, print that, and then it will try to fetch the element. But as there is no element in the list, sorry, lone element in the tuple, then it will skip it and move to the printing operations. So if I try to run the code right now, it will print just 3 and 5. That's all. So this how the tuple along with the slicing and the indexing works exactly. So friends, today we deeply understood the concept of a tuple, creation, access, operation and real examples as well. In the next video, we will explore more in detail depth about the sets and their operation and also perform them practically too. If you found this helpful, like the video, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. Stay tuned for more Python tutorial. See you in the next video.